I have got 5 red flags that if your OBGYN is saying these things or doing these, you need to think about finding somebody else. Stay tuned to see what they are. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Jennifer Lincoln, board-certified OBGYN, educator, and author, and this channel is the health class you wish you had in high school, but it's okay, we're making up for it now. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss an upload. This week's video is really near and dear to my heart because as an OBGYN, I take a lot of pride in what I do and in providing compassionate, evidence-based care. And when I get DMs or I see comments about how people were treated at the office, it breaks my heart and it also makes me really angry, especially when I see people who say, I never knew I could say something, or I didn't realize this isn't how it should be. And so I'm here to educate you about 5 red flags that if they're happening to you, I want you to think about speaking up or just going and finding somebody else because you deserve better care. The first one is if your provider says that a pelvic exam is required for birth control. And I have a whole video just on this, why it's not true, how the American College of OBGYN explicitly states this, and how it's harmful. Because if we are holding your birth control hostage for you to come in and have a pelvic exam, especially if you've got no issues, you're not due for any sort of screening like STI screening or a pap test, then us doing this and holding your birth control hostage is just hurting you, right? It's just making it more likely that you're going to run out and you're going to get pregnant. And I'm all about taking away the barriers when it comes to our reproductive health care. So if you want to know more about this, you are more than welcome to watch the video that I put up here. And it's also okay for you to say to your provider, I'm a little confused because the American College of OBGYN says I don't need this. So can you help me understand why? And if they say, well, that's just our office policy, no, thank you. We don't do policies that don't make sense here, okay? And ways to get around this are to find somebody else or to do mail order birth control, which I've also explained in a whole separate video and I'll link up here. So lots of good choices that we have nowadays, but I'm sorry you have to even potentially jump through these hoops. The second red flag, and this one gets me angry, is if your provider tells you that when you come in and you tell them that sex hurts, that you just need to relax, or you just need to drink a glass of wine, because that's bullshit. And maybe it is that you're stressed, and maybe relaxing is part of it, but maybe the reason you can't relax is because sex hurts, okay? Sex can hurt for a lot of different reasons. And yes, I do have a video on that. But the most important thing is to even know that it's not supposed to hurt. And when you actually go in and you talk about it, because I know it can be embarrassing and a lot of people wait a long time to address it because they feel like something's wrong with them. One of the worst things that can happen is that you're blown off and you're told, well, you just need to relax, because that's not true. And so there are things that we can do. And the first part of that is taking you seriously. So if you feel like you're not being heard, you're more than welcome to say, you know, I don't think that's the answer. I don't feel like you're hearing my concerns. And if you're still not getting the sort of attention you think you need, it's time to go somewhere else. Third red flag, this is a big one, is if when you are having an exam, any kind of exam, and you say, ow, that hurts, and they don't acknowledge it and stop, no, thank you. So I tell all of my patients when I'm doing an exam, specifically a pelvic exam, I say the same words every single time. I say, if anything at any point in time is uncomfortable or painful, tell me and I will stop and we'll adjust. And then the second important part of that is to then actually do it. So if the answer you get is, oh, I'm almost done, or that can't really hurt, or listen, it's just gonna hurt and you just have to relax. Do we see a theme here about relaxing? It's not okay, because you have to be able to consent to whatever it is we do. And consent is freely given and revocable, meaning that you can change your mind and say, nope, I thought I was going to be okay and I'm not, we need to stop. Or, this hurts, can we try something else? And we can. And if they're not listening, what else are they not listening to? So it's time to go elsewhere. The fourth red flag, all of these make me angry and I keep thinking like, oh, this one's the worst, but this one really bothers me too. If they tell you you need a pap smear every year, and we know, according to guidelines that we've had for a long time, annual pap smears, they should just no longer be a thing, unless you have some abnormal ones that we're following up, or you have a certain kind of history, such as having, HIV. But in the run-of-the-mill person who is healthy, doesn't have any abnormals, we can spread them out. And again, I have content on that you can check out up here, but Pap smears should be about every 3 to 5 years, depending on your age, your HPV status. More testing doesn't mean better. I know that we think that, but we've actually shown that with doing annual pap smears, we don't catch any more cervical cancers, and we spend a heck of a lot more money, and it's not super fun for you. So if your provider is insisting that you must have an annual pap test, that's telling you they're not up to date on the guidelines, and you can absolutely say, hey, can these guidelines say that we don't need to do this, which of course I'll put in the show notes below. And if still they don't listen and they say, well, that's just how we do it here, time to go somewhere else. It's just super frustrating because we have guidelines, we have these things for a reason, and when people decide to just ignore them because they think they know best, they're subjecting their patients to additional tests, which are not risk-free. Okay, the last thing that's my 5th red flag. Yeah, maybe this one's the worst. I don't know. They're all terrible. But if your provider tells you that you can only have an IUD if you've had kids before, that is such a red flag, because this is something we've known for a long time. And study after study shows that in people who have had kids and people who haven't had kids, the ability for us to be able to place one, it makes no difference. And so if they are feeling like they can only place them in people who've had kids before, maybe they're just more concerned about their level of skill in placing IUDs. And yeah, that one just really bothers me, because how many of their patients are they not giving the contraceptive access to that they should be because of this, incorrect belief? And again, I will put that guideline in the show notes. These are all 5 very different red flags. And if you are frustrated because you have heard one or all of them, I want you to know I am just as frustrated as well. Maybe even more so, because I know the inner workings of how these things work. And I know it makes all of us look bad when some of us can't follow standards of practice or say things that we know are just blatantly not true. I do want you to know there's so many good ones, so many people out there like us who stay up to date, who continue to learn, who believe in communication, listening to our patients, all that kind of stuff. Like, please don't give up if you've experienced one of these providers before. What other red flags do you feel like you've encountered or that I should have covered? Go ahead and drop your comments in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And if you're not already following me on TikTok and Instagram, you can follow me there at Dr. Jennifer Lincoln, where I discuss lots more of this kind of content. Remember, education is empowering, and you are worth speaking up, and you are worth fighting for the best type of care for. I know it can be exhausting, but I believe in you, and I'm hoping that my content helps to make it a little bit easier. Okay, everybody, stay safe out there. Until next time, bye-bye.